Good evening. This is the 18 WJTS News. I'm Charlotte Olson. The DuBois County Clerk's Office says that at the close of business on Wednesday afternoon, 1,536 people had taken part in early voting in the county. That's an impressive rate of 5% of the county's registered voters. The 2016 general election is set for Tuesday, November the 8th, and early ballots were able to be casted just a week ago and will continue up to and through Friday, November the 4th at the DuBois County Courthouse. You can early vote from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and Fridays, and also from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. DuBois County Clerk Bridget Jarbo says that folks may also vote on the third floor of the courthouse from 8 until 3 p.m. on Saturdays beginning on October the 29th and Saturday, November the 5th, and on Saturday, November the 5th from 8 a.m. until noon. You can also vote on the third floor on Monday, November the 7th. Early voting will not take place this Saturday, October the 22nd, and also an absentee voting site will be located at the Northside Jasper Fire Station located along 35th Street between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. from Monday, October 31st through Friday, November the 4th. That will be open from 8 a.m. until noon, and on Saturday, October the 29th and Saturday, November the 5th. Absentee voting is also available at the Huntingburg Event Center, the Ferdinand Community Center, and the DuBois Library between 8 a.m. and noon on Saturday, October 29th, and on Saturday, November the 5th. After a public hearing Wednesday night, the Jasper Common Council adopted an ordinance that vacates a section of the plated 12-foot public alley between lots 74 and 75 in Summit Heights additions. This public hearing was based upon a petition from John Weber Jr. to vacate the section. A representative had made appearances at both the Utility Board meeting Monday night and also last night's Common Council meeting. Other ordinances were also adopted, such as the rezoning ordinance that was a proposal to rezone just over 8.5 acres of land located between Green Meadow Estates 4 and Brookstone Estates 4 from A1 agricultural to rural residency. This proposal was made from Keish Kids LLC. Utilities manager Bud Hausenberger was present to explain a request within an ordinance that was adopted by the council. Before the council acted on this ordinance, he noted that its purpose was to set a maximum pay rate for utility employees for the 2017 year, which includes a pay rate for civil city employees as well. He noted that the position that Ashley Kiefer is a permanent part-time employee for the utility department and proposed to also have a 1.5% increased cost of living for her as well. The board approved both ordinances to set maximum pay rates for utility and civil city employees for the 2017 year. DuBois County Treasurer Chad Blessinger wants to remind taxpayers of the upcoming second installment deadline for property taxes. Blessinger says that the final day to pay the second installment of property taxes is on November the 10th. The DuBois County Treasurer's Office is located in the DuBois County Courthouse and is open from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. The office will also be open on Saturday, November the 5th from 8 until noon, and also open until 5 p.m. on November the 10th. Tax statements were mailed in April, and a second notification will not be mailed. An after-hours drop-off box is also available along the DuBois County Annex building on the corner of 6th and Jackson Streets in Jasper. Now, if a taxpayer needs a duplicate statement, they should contact the Treasurer's Office at 812-481-7080. The Active Shooter Workplace Violence Seminar will be held from 11:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. next Tuesday, October the 25th at the Vincennes University Jasper Campus Center for Technology, Innovation, and Manufacturing building. The Jasper Chamber of Commerce and also guest speaker Sergeant Jeremy Lee of Jasper Police Department will show what the signs are of a potential threat and how to protect oneself while at the workplace. The rise of active shootings in the workplace has increased drastically in the past 15 years. Over 1,000 employees have been killed due to workplace violence, and the cost is $15 per person, which includes lunch, and reservations must be made no later than tomorrow, October the 21st. You can make those reservations by calling the Jasper Chamber of Commerce at 812-482-6866 or send them an email at chamber@jasperin.org. Today we continue week 3 of our monthly mental health segment. Joy Hold, an 18 WJTS News reporter, and I sat down earlier this morning to discuss eating disorders.
Hello, I'm Joy Hold. I'm sitting here with Charlotte Olson for today's mental health segment. Today we're going to be talking about eating disorders, and Miss Olson is here to give us some information regarding that.
Absolutely.
All right, so my first question, let's just start with, what is an eating disorder?
Right, so there are multiple types of eating disorders. The three most common types of eating disorders are anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and compulsive overeating, are also known as binge eating disorder. And basically what those are is it all is a mental issue in the brain. And issue is a tough word to use, but it's a disorder of the brain. You see yourself differently than most average people see themselves. And anorexia nervosa specifically is an obsession with being thin. You want to cut back calories, you want to make sure you're not taking in a lot of calories, and you want to constantly be looking thinner. With bulimia, it's more about purging and overeating. You have these moments where you eat a whole bunch of food and then you feel guilty about it, and then you purge or throw up later to get rid of the calories to still continue to lose weight. With binge eating disorder, it's where you go on multiple binges a day. It's where you look at you sit down and you eat multiple calories and you don't really care. It gives you this energy, it gives you this power, but then in turn is giving you this massive weight loss. So you feel guilty about eating, but you want to eat, and it's just constant battle of having this negative relationship with food.
Okay. Now, do all three disorders affect the same area of the brain, or is it different?
I mean, it's different for everybody. Everybody's brain waves, everybody's brains are different, but it is still just a negative relationship with food inside the brain.
Okay, so if somebody does have this disorder, is it a genetic thing, or can it develop over time?
A little bit of both. They're doing research to see if it is genetic. There have been linkage to mothers who have an unhealthy relationship with food and then passing that on to their daughters. There's not necessarily a genetic linkage at this point in time, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. A lot of it is learned behavior. A lot of it is watching, society around you, watching your parents' relationship with food, watching your sister's relationship with food, your role models, et cetera, et cetera. So it's more of a learned behavior than it is necessarily genetic.
Okay, and who do these eating disorders affect?
Anyone. They don't discriminate. Anybody can suffer from an eating disorder. Actually, 30 million men and women annually in the United States will suffer from an eating disorder from the age of 8 to the age of 80. It does not, like I said, discriminate. Anyone can be affected.
Okay, if you're going to develop an eating disorder, what have you found is the most susceptible age that this would happen?
Normally the teenage years. They are noticing now in trends, especially with women, young girls specifically, that they're starting to develop negative feelings towards food around puberty, around, coming of age, when your body is changing and you're changing schools and different things are happening. It becomes a control issue for younger girls. It's also happening with young boys. They're starting to enter into more sports where weight is very conscious, like in wrestling or in swimming or in football. So it's really around that puberty transition into middle school, high school phase that we're seeing more and more of it happening.
Do you have any personal connection with the disorder?
Absolutely. So I'm an eating disorder survivor. I suffered from bulimia nervosa in high school for several years. It was just my way of controlling my life at that point. I was involved in several extracurricular activities. I was applying for school. I was trying to get my grades up, and just all of these little things kind of combining into one giant convoluted problem. And controlling my weight was the only way to really have control over my life at that point. I got recovery thanks to my grandfather. He became the light at the end of the tunnel, as a lot of people say. He showed me the way. He helped me seek recovery, and also with my family and a very strong support system. And now I'm on the other side of it. I'm stronger now because of it. And because of my message and because what I want other people to learn about it, I've created my own organization. I've created a charity called Standing Tall, Standing Together Eating Disorder Awareness. I sit down, like interviews like this, and I just share my message. I want to get my message out to as many ears that are willing to listen. And really what I seek to do is not only to share my story, but is also just to create a community of understanding. This is kind of a topic that is pushed under the rug. It's something that people don't really want to talk about, but it affects way too many people. I see it happen every day. I see people who are suffering from it but don't want to admit it, who are suffering from it but don't know how to get help. And that's exactly what my organization is here to do. I want to provide people with resources, I want to provide them with understanding, and I want to create a community that can help survivors and help others who need to seek recovery.
And what was the name of your organization?
It's Standing Tall, Standing
Okay.
Together, Eating Disorder Awareness.
Okay. Where, if people want more information about that, where can they go?
I am on Facebook. We're currently going through a shift of Facebook. We changed our name. We used to have a different logo and a different title. Now we're kind of revamping. We're rejuvenating our message and our topic. And so we're kind of under construction right now, but we are definitely on Facebook. You can also reach out to me by giving me a call, or you can send me an email. We have an email address, which I will share with everyone here. And then you can just reach out to me with any questions, concerns, or if you'd like me to speak, whatever I can do for you.
So when it comes to these kinds of disorders, are they preventable? Is there a way to cure them? What should people know about that?
It's not necessarily preventable. I mean, if you're going to develop an eating disorder, you're going to develop an eating disorder. But there are ways to be proactive. There are ways to stop it before it becomes an issue. And a lot of that has to do with teaching our young men and our young women on how to view themselves. You constantly are surrounded by these filters and society that's telling you to look like this or not to look like that, or if you're skinnier, you can run faster, or if you do this and that and the other, then you'll get better at this. And it's so negative, and our young generation is feeding into that, saying, oh, if I just filter my picture, I'll be prettier. Oh, if I just lose 5 pounds, that guy will like me. Oh, if I just skip lunch, then maybe I'll run faster on my mile in gym. And that's not necessarily true. Yes, losing weight is something that we all go through. It's, diets and fads. It's something that we're never going to get away from. But when it becomes negative and when it becomes something that is physically harming a person's body, that's when it's becoming an eating disorder, and when it develops into something that's going to affect them for the rest of their life. And so if we can start at a younger age saying, this is what you bring to the table, this is what you are known for, what you are wonderful for, what you are gifted with, and appreciate the values and uniqueness that every person is born with, then we can help put a stop to the stigma and help put a stop to it before it becomes an issue later on in life.
Do you think society plays a role in this? And if they do, what is the role of society?
I don't know if it's necessarily something that we can put a stop to, but society does play a role. I see it every day. I also teach dance, so I see it with my young girls. I'm constantly combating with them, like, why do you think that's weird? Why do you have to retake your Snapchat picture 80 times? Why does sending a picture to your friend have to be ugly, or it can be different, but yet sending a picture to a guy you like has to be perfect? And so that's learned. That's a learned behavior, like I've talked about before. It's something that society has taught these young girls, that I have to look this way for a guy to like me. I have to look this way to advance in society. And so society is constantly showing us these messages, whether they're broad, whether they're not. They're constantly showing us, on magazines. Think about standing in line at Walmart. You look at magazines. Try this to lose 5 pounds.
Right.
Try this to look like Kim Kardashian. Try this, that, and the other to, lose this, and lose that, and tone up, and get the man to like you, and da-da-da-da-da. So kids aren't stupid. And I know I keep talking about kids, but it also affects women and men and older generations. But kids are the people we have to be proactive with, because if you start young, then we can create change growing older. And so that's why I keep talking about them. But they see these messages.
Right.
They're not stupid. They see these messages. They think that, oh, my mom tried this diet, I need to diet. They see it. They see it all the time. And society, in my opinion, needs to kind of scale back. We need to kind of filter what we're allowing our younger generations to see, so that they're not negatively affected by it at such a young age.
Right. Where can people find resources to help them if they're suffering from, or they know someone who is suffering from an eating disorder?
Right. Technology is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So that helps a lot with resources. There are several organizations out there like mine that are trying to create this community of understanding and put a stop to the stigma behind eating disorders. Some of them are NEDA, are the National Eating Disorder Association. You can go on Google, find them. They have brochures, pamphlets. You can even take an eating disorder quiz to kind of see where you stand on a healthy relationship with your body. Do you need help? Do you not? Et cetera, et cetera. Also, you can Crisis Connection here in town. They are good resources. Southern Hills as well here in town, and also in Paoli. They are great connections as well. They can get you in touch with the right people. And of course, if you go onto Google and you type in eating disorder help, eating disorder resources, a ton more organizations will come up as well. And there's lots of stuff out there. There's an organization called Proud to Be Me, which is targeted at teenage adolescent years. There's also other organizations like the Kristen Haglund Foundation that helps with resources in terms of monetary values. So there's plenty of people, plenty of resources out there for anybody to get in touch with. And of course, me as well. I can help you with any of those, or you can come talk to me. Whatever whatever you need.
Okay, that is great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
This is for our mental health this week. This is Charlotte Olson. She is our in-house news anchor.
I am, yes.
And if you have any questions regarding an eating disorder, feel free to contact her here at the station or check out our Facebook page. She could definitely put you in touch with some helping information.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much for being with me today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Make sure to join us next week as we wrap up our month-long coverage of mental health. Tune in for our last segment where we will be discussing bipolar disorder and also depression. Make sure to keep it right here, because up next we'll take a look at your weather summary.